Now I'm ready. You ready?
You're on.
Seven days with the wrong woman. We sat at a table for two. The first thing I knew, she whispered, "Oh boy, I could sure go for you." My heart beat a little bit quicker as I held her sweet little hand. I swelled up with pride, but oh how she lied. I sure was a foolish young man. 7 beers with the wrong woman. She made me get up and dance. Around and around we circled till I missed my money from my pants. I asked her if she had seen it. She smiled up at me and said no. To this day to me, it's a big mystery. I wonder just where it did go. 7 beers with the wrong woman. Her husband walked in after that. As soon as he found us together, he rushed up and gave me a bath. He took me by the seat of my britches, and he sure did kick up the sweat. And then I got tossed out the door by the boss, and he told me to never come back. 7 beers with the wrong woman, it left me only regret. I guess she was only a foolin' when she called me her darling and pet. Oh, I wish that the Lord had made Adam and had never made anyone else. Just one thing I know, the next place I go, I'll buy 14 beers for myself.
Welcome to the Upside Down Show. This is live. And that piece is a mellotone in the late 1930s. 7 beers with the wrong woman. And for later in the evening, I'll have 7 beers with the wrong man. We're going to have a good show tonight. But first, if anyone has noticed, the town hall this week is being cleaned off on the north end. And they're going to be painting next week if the rain stops. The fence that is around the town hall, the railing, that's all being painted. And if anyone has noticed the bell down at the church or down at the library, the framework, that's already been painted, been scratched down, all the rust has been cleaned up. It's all been painted. Of course, we're all waiting for the 250th this year. The bicentennial or the bi-tribe half a century centennial. And also the Fish and Game Derby is coming up. Leon, when's the Derby? When's the Derby? Fishing Derby. It's not tomorrow, is it?
29th.
Next Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. Starts at 7 o'clock in the morning.
All right, good. 7 o'clock, Saturday and Sunday. Next week is the Fishing Derby at the Wales Fishing Game.
Stocking will be at 12 o'clock noon this Wednesday if anyone would like to come.
Oh, what about like 6 o'clock at night? Can I go fishing down there?
The non-stocking.
Oh,
No fishing.
no fishing, I see. Well, they won't be. We're not going to tell anybody that we're stocking the pond, but apparently they are, but they're not going to tell you what day. And if you just listened, maybe you did. But anyway, we have a good show. The only missing part of the show this evening is a live horse Tom. But that's all right. We can get along without Tom. With a pain in the neck anyway.
Yeah.
The mystery tool. Mystery object. And this is popular around the 1930s. It is a call-in talk show, 267-5111. The phones do work. I'll give you the first mystery picture. The one on the top. Oh, those good-looking horses?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
Are they mules?
I don't know.
I can't,
It's a little hard to see from.
Could be a jackass for all I know. That's the mystery picture. Also, I'll get you another mystery picture in town as soon as I find it. And let's see. Here's another one. The one on top. There's a good-looking horse there too. See, there he is. Two of them, in fact. See the white horse in the center?
Yep.
The carriage.
Yeah.
The one on the left.
Nice.
It's another mystery picture. So anyway, let's introduce you two young ladies.
I like the show already.
Yeah.
I like the show already.
You do?
Yeah.
Well,
Young ladies.
I've never been known to lie, so I'm telling you the truth.
Good.
Your name, please.
I'm Nicole Bilkerza from West Hampton, Massachusetts.
West Hampton, and you, young
And
lady?
Pamela Rickenbach. I'm from Palmer, Massachusetts.
Palmer.
Yeah.
And you two girls are associated with what rescue group?
Blue Star Aquaculture.
Blue Star?
Mm-hmm.
How many horses do you have?
At any given time, we have 30 horses.
When you were on here last year, year
Mhm.
before last, how many horses did you have then?
30.
You had 30 then too?
Yes, we did. Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We set our capacity at 30 about 6 months into when we opened the rescue. Yeah.
And you take in all types of horses?
We do. We specialize with workhorses, the draft workhorses. But we'll take in a horse in need. Any horse in need. All horses are technically workhorses since they were all bred to do specific jobs.
Yeah, not just sit around in somebody's yard and
No.
be fed
No.
most of the time.
Ornaments.
Or yeah, they are.
They've become, and that's part of the dilemma that horses are in these days. They've become a lot like disposable luxury items. You know, when people are unable to take care of them anymore, they're one of the first things to go. Well, anyway, the horses are in crisis right now in our country. There's a lot of homeless horses. There's a lot of horses in need. There's a lot of horses that are neglected and left uncared for because economically people are unable to care for them. We have a problem in our country where we're sending horses to auction and from there they're being shipped to slaughter in Mexico and Canada. So that's a really big problem. Most of our horses that are shipped to Canada and Mexico are pets, or we're pets. So they're the healthy younger horses. So it's a terrible crisis, and we really need to look at it and come up with creative solutions on how to deal with it, because we owe a lot to the horse. They've been our companion helper for over the past 6,000 years, and we really believe at Blue Star that we owe them respect, and we owe them the understanding to try to help them in a way where they can live their lives as they deserve to live them, with the respect and dignity that they deserve. So we're really involved in the community. We try to get our horses in the community, involved in the community, reconnected with people in the community, because honestly, all European descendant people are horse people. So we try to remind people of that shared history we have with the horses and the responsibility we still have with them.
Do you find it hard for the public today to accept your message?
Absolutely, and the sad part is it's only 50 years ago, 100 years ago, every one of us had a horse. They were in our backyard, they were the family car, we depended on our horses. They were our companion helper animals, and 50 years ago, there were still people holding onto their horses in the big cities. They were still using them for their livelihoods. And today, you know, there are people that use their horses, but it's very rare. And, you know, we'd like to remind people of the capabilities of horses and the contributions they can still make. You know, they can still help us quite a lot, and they're a great solution to sustainability too. So we'd love to include the horses more in our lives.
I'm reading a book right now about the 10th Light Artillery of the Civil War.
Oh, I was.
Have you read it?
No, but I was reading this morning about the Civil War and the horses involved in the Civil War. Yes.
Well, I was amazed. They would have the morning roster, who was gone to sick leave, how many horses died, how many horses were left. Just, they were too weak to work anymore, so they either just left them there in the field or they went out and slaughtered them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hundreds.
Oh God, it was over 1 million horses died in that war.
And
Yeah.
there were, a new shipment of horses came in this morning.
Yep.
It would say 6 new horses. And a month later, you know, half of them were gone.
And many of those horses weren't prepared to go into battle. I mean, they were getting all the horses they could to help in the war, and they were pulling them off farms, so they didn't have time for the proper training
Yeah.
or preparation for the horses. It was really an unbelievable time in our history for the horses.
This is cut nice.
Yeah.
But look at the horse.
Yep.
He's got a rope tied to him and he's pulling the ice right up into the ice.
Well, they're
So they
responsible.
were-
They built everything we have.
Yeah.
They've helped us in every possible way. The roads were created for the horses.
I live on a property that has an ice pond, and that's exactly what these horses did even 80 years ago. They had a dairy farm, and the horses drove the milk out into the East Hampton, Northampton areas,
Sure.
and they were cutting ice and dragging it up into the milk house.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's only 80 years ago. I mean, the woman whose parents did it still lives and told me the story. So
Yeah, we
it's-
haven't gone too far away from the
No.
horse.
No,
we
tell you the
haven't.
we
truth.
really haven't.
But culturally, we've forgotten a lot about them. People don't remember, you know, the contribution they've made.
Well, I know somebody that's got 3 horses. They go see him maybe once a week. Well, then they got tired of one horse, so now they gave it away. Now they got another horse, they want to sell it. And of course, who's going to buy a horse these
Right
days?
now, yeah,
You know, is there anything wrong with it? They don't want it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's a.
that's the
It's like
responsibility.
a throwaway horse.
And
Didn't anybody have? No, never mind. I'm not going to get into that now.
There would be heated argument right there.
well, I want to say just on the subject of their health care. You know, Nicole. I met Nicole last year when she adopted one of our old elderly draft horses. You know, you've met Tom.
Sure.
Well, there's another really big personality in our herd named Jesse. He was an old carriage horse, and he wasn't doing very well on our farm because he wasn't able really to adjust to the herd dynamics. So he was having trouble, and when I introduced Jesse to Nicole, she immediately saw the amazing qualities of this horse. I mean, this horse was a carriage, worked 28 years of his life, and he's just this amazing, wise old man of a horse. And Nicole fell right in love with him and took him to her farm and restored him to health.
Yeah.
Today, Jesse is this really big, healthy, vibrant horse, and she did it with natural health care. So
Oh, that's an interesting thing I want to ask you.
yes.
Go ahead.
And that's
Well,
how she
that-
came
yeah.
about developing this, what we're here to talk about tonight, which
Yeah, he was really the inspiration. This was, there you go. Oh, perfect.
oh yeah.
Let's hold up the sign.
There you go. That's all up the sign.
There it is. That's the mystery sign.
This is the Call In Talk Show. The phones do work, so if you have a question about your horse or horses, give us a call.
So what happened is, so this horse came to us, Jesse, and he was, he needed a specific diet, which that was easy enough, and I could figure that out. And he needed to be fed 5 times a day because his teeth were so worn down he couldn't even chew anymore. That was easy enough. And then, though, he had a couple of physical injuries, a hip injury, and a couple of things that really needed more than just help with food. And he So I got a couple of natural, like holistic practitioners to come, and they adjusted his hip. They gave him flower essences, and this was within 3 months. Was the gleam was back? That he was sparkling again. He was amazing. He was moving. He was happy. He is willing to live. He was just beautiful, beautiful, and well again. And I decided, you know what? People need to know about these practitioners.
Right.
And the horse world is very extreme. Like Pam said, it's either a luxury item and people spend lots and lots of money on boarding them and doing all kinds of veterinary things for them, or they are neglected. But there's something in between where if we maintain their well-being of body, mind, and spirit, we can actually cut down on expenses and have happier horses. And so we started to come up with this whole idea of creating an expo, almost like there's the whole health expo for humans. We created the same thing for equines, and that's next weekend.
Is that something new, or is that something that just come along?
That's something new. I think there is one out in Colorado that is somewhat similar, but certainly in the Northeast there's nothing like it. Because this is only body practitioners and exhibitors that have wellness in mind for the horse. So there's all natural products, there's no chemical involved, and all the practitioners are like massage therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists, natural hoof care. We have people that do Reiki, we have people that do physical therapy for horses. I mean, the list is endless. We have 25 people.
Do you whisper?
Of course I do.
Do you think he
I
whispers?
listen though. I listen more than I
Well,
whisper because I
that's
think
an
that's
interesting
more
thing, 'cause
important.
next week, I have somebody on who is a dog psychic.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, can you use that to a horse?
Oh, absolutely.
Wade?
We both hear them.
You do?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. They talk.
Really? You got to be tuned into them.
You have to be
Yeah.
quiet, really.
Yeah.
You have to learn to be quiet
Yeah.
and pay attention. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
And Jesse in particular is one that is very, very clear. I mean, he does show you stuff physically. He's a little like Tom when you pull your pants out.
Yeah.
When we were interviewed for this expo, and the reporter was with her pad, whenever Pam and I said something that really was important, I mean, we make statements about this work, right? He would go over to the lady with his nose and put the nose on the pad, going like, "Did you get that? Did you get that?
Really?
No."
Yeah.
Oh
He's
yeah,
amazing.
I mean,
Jesse is amazing.
yeah, they
Yeah.
are. We just don't get still enough, like Pam said. You know, if we're always busy, I call it, we're monologuing. We're doing everything to them versus waiting and seeing
True.
what comes back.
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You
And-
wait on them hand and foot, but you don't.
Let
But
them-
you don't realize if they like it or not.
Right.
Unless
You gotta
sit there
pause
and
for
think.
that and then let them reach out and say, like, you know what, I like that. Do that again. You know, and they will.
That's
Or I
good.
don't like that. you
Oh,
know?
I don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of times we do things to horses that they may not really like. And we have a rule on our farm because we drive horses and we work with them. If a horse isn't listening to you, the first rule is that you always check to see if something's wrong. Instead of assuming that he's just not listening and trying to, push them into doing something. The rule is always stop and check your equipment and check there's something not, and it always works that there's something wrong.
Huh.
I mean,
They're so smart. I mean,
they're-
Pam tells the story about Jesse with the bridge, with the couple, the wedding couple. That's such an example.
Jesse, I said that he was a carriage horse for 28 years. He was a professional carriage horse. He did rides with people. He knows people really well, and he knows how to be in any situation on streets or over bridges. So we took him up to do a wedding in Huntington, Mass. Do you know Huntington? There's a big bridge that crosses over. Goes
Yeah, it's
onto
a hill
The
town.
Westfield
Yeah.
River,
Yeah.
yeah.
The big Westfield River Bridge.
That's
there.
Huntington. Their bicentennial is the same year as ours.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Because I remember back in '62, they came to our bicentennial and we went to theirs.
Ah.
I do remember that.
So we had a wedding, and Justin, who was driving, picked up the bride and the groom, and he was taking them over the bridge. And one of the it's called a quailer, it's a holdback strap, it broke. And Jesse technically wasn't really even hooked onto the shafts. He had like one piece of leather hooking him to the shafts, and he didn't panic. Any horse would panic. I mean, because as soon as they feel something wrong or the weight's wrong or shifts, they panic because they
balance,
don't
yeah.
understand what's happening. And you can sometimes talk him into being good or stopping, but Jesse just collected himself and distributed his weight in such a way that it held the carriage. And no one knew that anything was wrong. Justin knew, and
Yeah.
Justin was really afraid. And,
Sure.
But Jesse, just the way he composed himself, Justin realized that he's taking care of the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
They got over the bridge, and then Jesse stopped and let Justin fix the leather strap.
Huh.
If he had panicked, or if he had, it could have been a disaster. And it was these people's weddings, and that's what we try to explain about these horses. You know, these work horses in particular, they have such an incredible relationship with us. They're paying attention to us. They're paying attention to what's happening. And
Well, they're a social animal.
that's right, and they're
And they
very
grow up
smart.
with people.
Right.
I mean, some of the draft horses rather be with people.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, they hang out with their herd, but when they see us coming, they're like, "Come
Well,
on,
they
let's
love it.
hang
Yeah,
out."
yeah.
You know,
Well,
they love that.
That's part of the 6,000 years
They
of
don't
breeding.
love it. They just know that you got to care.
See, you know what? Actually, the funny thing is, this is one of my big things that I talk to people all about. If you come with the carrot, they love you for the carrot. If you come for you, they love you for you.
Oh, that's
You
all right
know,
too.
and
All
that's true. I mean, we don't even, you know, obviously there's so many people at Blue Star. There are always people giving treats, but it's amazing when people actually stop that and really just connect without anything. Just bring yourself, and the horse loves it.
They're
They
happy
just-
to be with you.
Yeah, they enjoy our company. Yeah.
When you speak about a horse and you say this horse is 13 hands high, what is a hand? How much
One
is a
hand
hand?
is 4 inches.
Like that?
Like this. So in the old days, that's how I guess the average men's hand, right, was 4 inches high, and so they started to measure it in
Right from the
hands,
hoof all the
right
way
from
up?
the hoof up to where the mane ends, and kind of where the
withers,
saddle. It's
Oh,
called
where
the
it comes
withers.
down.
With,
Oh.
Yeah, that's where you measure it.
Ah, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that I noticed, and I didn't pay any attention to it, I'm a bottle dump collector, and I always find horseshoes. So I always used to throw them in the box and blah 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 blah. Well, finally I decided to clean them up, paint them up, and I put them up on my wall, and I got 57 of them. And the thing that I was amazed at was every horseshoe was different. And I said,
Right.
geez, and yet you don't think of that, but
Yeah.
horses' feet are different too.
Of course.
And some horses, you would see that the shoe would be worn on one
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Or I even got a couple of ice or snow
With
shoes,
little
and you'd see
cleats
that
under,
the,
yeah.
the cleats would be worn
Yeah.
out, so that this horse had
Yeah.
to work hard.
Yeah.
And then the one I didn't know was that there was a horseshoe with a leather pad on it.
So the ice wouldn't build up, probably, or sometimes,
Well,
or when they're.
working on the street, they have them too.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
they have
yeah.
leather padding.
Well, it was pad on the inside,
Yep.
on the hoof side.
Yep.
Somebody told me it's because the pad was sore.
Well, it does protect the hoof
The sole
the
of the-
frog,
yeah.
from just a lot of wear and tear, especially if they're working on asphalt. Most horses, well, I would say most that are working on asphalt have pads. It's just better for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
If they're working
Protection.
full time on the streets.
Then I
yeah.
found one that was completely round.
Yeah, that's another.
Like so.
Has it, yeah.
So
And some of
apparently,
them are actually, some of them are orthopedic shoes too. You
Mm-hmm.
know where.
Yeah, the blacksmith would make a
Yes.
shoe up for
For
the
specific
particular
reasons,
problem of that horse.
yeah.
And I just never. I mean, some were thin, some were wide.
Tom's shoe. I don't know if you remember Tom's story, but his foot was technically
You
broken.
did tell me he had a bad.
He had to wear orthopedic shoes, and his shoes would be put on backwards.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then
So
they
he had
would
a
be
bit of
lifted in a
break over
certain
in the
way,
front,
yeah,
right?
to
Yeah.
Oh, really?
put more support on his heel and push his bone back into place because his bone had rotated 33 degrees off the hoof wall.
Oh, wow.
You know, that's a almost fatal injury for a
It hurts.
horse. Oh God, it really did
Must.
hurt. But he's through all of that now. All he has is a little arthritis. He can work. He can't work like horses his age, but he can.
Horses get arthritis too?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. Especially if they've been
They
worked
creak
hard.
just like we
yeah,
do.
they do.
Really?
You know what's fascinating though? I bet you Jesse doesn't really have it.
No, he
When
actually-
they work their whole life and it's a routine job, but you know, walking steadily or have something to do, they don't really have problems like that. You don't see that with riding horses, and you don't see that with the real hard, heavy plow horses because they work so hard. They do develop kinds of, all kinds of joint problems and or arthritic problems. But
The worst are those that you described your neighbor has. Like they go once a week, ride them for an hour,
There you
and
go.
then they
hurt.
stand
Yeah.
around for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
That's
the next
the
time
worst.
they take them out, they take them for 10
Work 'em hard
miles,
again,
and
yeah.
and they pull things and hurt things. That's
It's just
that's,
like us. You don't go run a marathon and then sit
True.
around again. You know.
True.
I mean, yeah, consistency or lots of space is important that they can move
To keep
around.
them moving,
Don't
yeah.
keep them locked up in a stall.
Now, do you try to not exercise your horse, but do you try to get different horses in your group to go out on a parade or go pull a wagon? Or,
all
are they all capable of doing that?
Well, not all of them.
Not all.
We have some of our horses on the farm are young and they haven't been trained yet, so they get trained on our farm. And it takes a long time for a horse to feel secure enough to go out on the street in a parade. It takes a really long time. So, but we do have a whole group of horses that can do that work. Tom is one of them, and we have several parade horses that are retired that love being in parades. We also have former hitch horses. Have you been to the Big E where you see the big 8-horse hitches or those big hitches?
I used to see the Hallamore.
Yeah.
The Hallamores, yeah.
Hallamore,
We have horses like that love doing that kind of stuff. They love pulling wagons and things like that. And then we have old farm horses that love doing it too. I mean, all those horses have a lot of experience, and they're fine anywhere you take them.
Not just a
But-
dumb horse.
No, not at all. I would never say that about a horse. I'd be really afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know these days, I would never.
Now, how did you get involved? Did you just happen to wander down there and see this old
Actually, you know
old
what?
gray mare?
Yeah, it was kind of like this. Actually, I was invited to come and meet Pam and then maybe provide some workshop lecture type things there because I do a lot of work with people and for the horses to build relationships between people and their horses because a lot of people are even afraid of their horses or concerned or don't even know really how to be with them or don't understand them. They call the vet and that's the only phone call they make or a trainer, and sometimes it's not a training problem. It's like a problem where the horse is just concerned or had a bad transition or had some has something going on that is much more an emotional issue or the person.
So you're not a vet.
No, I'm not a vet.
You.
I'm a relationship coach for horses and their humans. That's
Okay.
what I do.
So you're like a psychologist.
Yeah, I'm not going to label myself that. This is a public television show. I'm not going to say that.
Just curious.
No, but so I and I was going to come to Blue Star and help help them raise some funds by doing a presentation, and they can charge tickets for it because they're nonprofit. And then Jesse came into my life, and then this expo started, and then I decided, let's do this expo and make it a fundraiser for Blue Star.
Yeah.
So
Now, how has your fundraiser been?
Well, we have lots of fundraisers. All the time.
Has it been when
They
you
always
first
need
started
more.
2 years ago?
They
has it
always
been
need more.
Better?
We're
Has it
in our
gotten better?
fourth year now. We're in our fourth year, and
Yeah.
I have to say, having 30 horses, it approximately costs about $235,000 to care for them, and that's strictly the horses because no one's paid at Blue Star. We're all volunteers, so we have to raise that amount of money every year. We have friends that help us by delivering hay and then letting us pay it as we can. Thank goodness for them. But most of our bills have to be paid, right? Like our grain every week has to be paid.
Yeah.
And we managed to raise the money. It's always work, and there's always more to raise. And but our horses do jobs out in the community, and people pay for their work. And we also have a Join the Herd program where people can become members. Your sister is a member.
Yes,
She's
I
a
don't know if she's
wonderful
still
member.
does she still
Yeah,
go?
she still stops by and visits,
All
and
right,
she's
good.
really
Yeah.
But $10 a month, people can become a member and help, and that's really our favorite type of fundraising or our favorite type of contribution, because that means that the community is helping take care of the homeless horses. And what we're trying to say at Blue Star is that a community can take care of its homeless horses if the community is allowed to help. Blue Star is a program where the community is invited in to be part of the horses' lives and to help take care of them. And that's a little special. That's different than a lot of other places where they try to, for insurance reasons, they try to keep the community out. Well, we spend a lot of money on insurance
I bet you
to
do.
facilitate people coming and being
Sure.
with them, because how are people going to have that
The
memory
connection
of this
and-
connection if they can't be near them? And so we teach people to drive.